Good morning, traders. Oh, sorry, good afternoon, traders. I'm used to good morning, good afternoon, traders. Welcome to the live session. This is our New York session. This is going to be the last free session for this week, access to my trading room. I think by now you all have a good idea what it is and how it works. And a quick reminder to those of you who are joining this session and weren't there this morning, you can look at this morning's session also. There's some interesting things there. And if you would like to continue have these very same videos on a daily basis, you can either join our group or you can join the installment program if you can't afford to pay for the whole course at the same time. The installment program is very cheap. It's only $100 a month, which means you can pay any amount above that whenever you feel like you're ready to join the group. You're not buying the webinars, they're free. You're getting them free when you join the installment program, right? To join, let me just give you this very quick. You just send me a message on Skype. Mangal is my Skype name, Mangal4557. Right? So you send me a Skype message and you will get all the details. That's all. If you want to join, you should be able to, at the end of this week, you should be able to make a decision on that. Okay, let's go. So we'll start as usual. We're recording this. We'll start with the trades we're in. That is the silver, which we took this morning. Remember, I warned you that this might still be an ongoing, because of this consolidation here, this could still be an ongoing running flat in the making, come back here, go back there, come back here, and then take off. It will take off. At some point, it will take off. We're not sure exactly how close. I'm looking at this as the B part. So I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then go. If at any point that calculation is wrong, it could take off at any point. So every time we get now from the bottom, we'll try to get a trade to the upside. We didn't really get a flag here, so we take it. If you're in this trade, don't take off the trade. You don't have a lot of profit there to give up, so put it to break even, which means you're putting your stop exactly here. If it comes take you out, we'll wait for a flag and we'll look for a sell, or you'll put an entry above the top. If it takes you out and decide to go like a rocket, which I think is unlikely, right? For my traders, if you can manage this differently, which means if you can wait for it to drop, make the flag, then exit the trade, if you're willing to do that, that is okay. But for the rest of the traders, put an entry order, that put a stop to break even. Gold, we're looking for a sell, and like I said this morning, there's no buy setup, but this could climb up to the top. And if this climb up to the top there, we will take off this sell because this is going to come back here, and then we'll get a buy setup. Right? And it could be a buy setup, but this is going really, really slow. So we're ignoring the buy for now. At this point in time, the sell is still valid. The sell becomes invalid when it gets to the top there. Then it's no longer a valid sell setup because it's going to come down, but you would want to sell it from the top, not from here. They'll tag you here and go back up. So remember that if you're going to, after this session, you have to remember that if you have this trade off, to take it off if it doesn't go the way you want it to go. Euro, so the euro sell here comes off. Remember what I said, if it breaks the top, you take off the sell. It's a running flat. We're anticipating to get a running flat here now. So this correction is correct, except it broke the top. And when it breaks the top, it comes here, it goes back up. So we can change that to a buy setup now, which makes sense. We're back into the buy. I'll take off this buy and I'll put it above the top. Two ways we trade the running flat. We either buy the top, the breakout of the running flat, or we get an entry order when this comes down to the bottom here. We get an entry order here for that trade. If you don't get an entry order, don't try to buy it at the bottom. Don't try to pick where you think the bottom is here. You'll get yourself in trouble. So if this proves it's a running flat, we will get this trade from here, or we'll get the trade from there. You can put that entry order right now. What if this is the running flat? That is okay. It will go. We'll take the trade. So we're going to change this from a sell to buy. So if I think you've seen all possibilities of how patterns manage, how patterns change, how patterns develop. For a week, you've seen everything. And you would have seen that if I had told you at the start of the week that we are doing X with this trade, and by the end of the week, we're doing the opposite of the trade. And you see why and how that works, why it changes. If you're watching this video for the first time, if you're looking at my videos and this is the first video you get, go back and watch all the videos for this entire week. They're all on YouTube. And they're like at least 3 sessions a day, right? Because some sessions we do 2 parts. So you're going to see 3 videos a day, 2 sessions, 3 videos. Some days we did 3 sessions. I don't know. I think twice we did 3 sessions. Most times they're just 2 sessions. right? But you will get 3 or 4 videos per day. So go back and watch all of them, because then you would start to see how we develop everything, how everything changes. And maybe that will help you. So now we're looking for a buy, because now we're getting a confirmed bigger. This would be your first impulse up. This would be your first flat. And if that goes, we want the trade, right? Aussie, we're in the Aussie buy. And if you close and re-enter, let's look at it. In the 1 hour, you close and re-enter, it's there for 100 hours almost. It's there for long. You would close the trade and put an entry order above the top. You will not stay with that trade. And if it tags your gate and it doesn't go, you will take off the darn trade, because it's going to make a running flat. So look at it in the 15. See? This came down. We were expecting this to take off. It tagged you here. You close the trade. Put an entry above the top. If this takes off, you get a trade. If it goes like this slowly and it starts to pull back again for a bigger running flat here, close the trade, put the entry above the top. Don't trade hope. Hope is not a strategy. Hope is your emotion. So if you buy the trade, and we bought this here first, we closed it, we re-enter, we closed it, we re-enter. If this thing, this is Friday afternoon, if this thing tagged you and it's not going, close the darn trade and wait. Because if there is momentum, it will go. If there is no momentum, then it's not going to suddenly come. You can put an entry above the top again if the sudden momentum comes back, but that's rare in Friday afternoon, right? It's still an uptrend. I think it's going to go quite a lot, because we have a big move here with a lot of pullback. We have a big correction here, a much bigger correction, and we're still going. If you're going to put this, you're going to put the trend like this now. The trend should look like this, pretty much. And it's still an uptrend. And on the 1 hour, do we have divergence? We still have divergence, but I think that's going to go away. As soon as this take off, that divergence will be gone. So we'll see how it goes. CAD, this sell is still valid. Let's see what it looks like on the 1 hour at the bottom there. Yeah, so I just said, if this come back to break even, close the trade, put an entry above by the bottom here. Take break even, put the entry lower. If it starts to do this, which it starts to just tag you and keep doing this and doing this, what you do when you start to see this channel is you survive this one. If you see they're doing that, you survive this one, let it pull back into it, keep a stop here, and let it pull back, let it do. And once it drops, you can put the break even. They will continue to do that for the rest of the day, and maybe at the end of the day, you can close it. So if you see that happening, right? But sometimes when you see this, they just break the low and they reverse. You have to get out of the trade. So we'll see, we'll put a stop, you put a tight stop. When you start to see things like that, you put a very tight stop here. Because all these pullbacks can continue, they're never supposed to come back here. If they go back there, that would be a deeper correction. Now we just broke a very, very big flat. That is this one. I don't think we're gonna turn, we're just gonna break this low. I think we're gonna go for a while. This is start to pick up just now and take off. So you can close the trade and put the entry here. If you're still in the trade, at least put your stop here, right? Or put it to break even when it tags you again. When it breaks the low, sorry, if you're still in it. Go back to the 1 hour. Yen. Okay, looks like we might get a trade here. It's a very aggressive trade if you put an entry order to sell here, but this is a yen, and we will put the entry order to sell here, right? Because if that's a contracting flat, I want that trade. Better to take a break even when it breaks through this low and come here if it doesn't come all the way to the bottom. We'll take the break even. But if this is a contracting flat and it looks very much like a contracting flat, like this was a flat here, the chances are we're going to come to this low. We're going to get this trade here. If it stops here and start to consolidate, we'll close and re-enter and we'll look for that trade. Right? When it comes here, then is when you will start to be careful of what is happening here. Either break through or it start to go back up and you close the trade. You know the normal thing. Right. You're in New Zealand? Good sell. Like this morning, I already said, if you put the entry here, you did good. If you put the entry there, you did good. Here is where you start to put that to break even. I don't think we should take it off there. I think we should put the break even because I'm expecting them to break this low. So I expected this to make a small consolidation here and drop. This is one you can keep, but if you don't want to keep it, you can close it here and put an entry here. So let's look at that if you don't want to keep it. This is 1, 2, put it in the 15. See, you start to see that consolidation there. So what you can do is allow this one to probably come back here and then close it here if it doesn't break, and then put it about 4 pips lower. It will probably go back up and then it will drop. So You can do two things if you want. You should put this to break even immediately. And then the second thing is, if you like this trade, or if you're going to go away, you wouldn't be trading here. You take the profit and put an entry here. You're in the same trade if it dropped. What if it comes back here? And we saw that during the week, we saw about 5 or 6 entries did that we closed, right? So we broke this low, they can go back up, right? Breaking that low means they can go back all the way to the top. I'm not expecting them to do that, but they can do it. So you have to be aware that, well, I'll just take that profit. I'll put an entry under the low and wait for the trade to go, right? Let's go. Or if you think, well, I'll just let it drop. And if not, I'll take break even, or I'll wait, I'll close it to the lower time at a different time, at the next hour or the hour after. You can also do that, right? That's an option because you're here now trading, so you will be able to manage that trade. You're a cat. You're in this one also. If this one you need to close, because if this is not going, you need to close this. You have to close this here. If you didn't close, you should have closed it here already. If you didn't close it, let it pull back one, because this could be a flat for upside. Right, we spoke about this already. This is a flat for upside, right? This could definitely just be 1, 2, 3, break the low and go right back up to the top. We know euro dollar looks upside. We have an entry for euro dollar. If these are all trades leading with euro dollar, it can go straight up back. So you want to make sure you're out of these trades a little earlier, right? You don't want to be the last. That's the last thing you do. This is over, right? So because this is making a bigger flat. So we're looking at this either as a bigger flat or total downside. When you close the trade, you put an entry under the low. So if you close the trade here, or if it comes a little lower and you close it here, put an entry under the low, 4 or 5 pips under the low, basically. Your pound? Well, this is going to tag you now, and it should go more. I don't think that's all the consolidation. And I don't think this is a running flat. So I think somewhere along the line, you'll probably get a running flat. Let it tag you, let it go, and then we'll see what happens. But somewhere along the line, you could get a running flat. So you'll have to be careful with it, right? Keep a stop above the top or a stop here, but don't let it come to either of those two stops. Pound Swiss. This one is still consolidating. I believe this is still going to be a consolidation. We spoke about that this morning. It's going to come here. It's probably going to go back up, maybe come back here and then go. This would be a bigger flat. Now, even if it's going, we really don't have a buy setup that I like, because all they need to do is break that top and then drop. And the range is too small to trade within the range. We want it to drop, right? So it's not going to drop now. They'll likely go back up. If this turns out to be a flag here, then we'll consider the sell from there. Can we put the entry over here? I think that would be dangerous, because this is part of the correction, right? It is not the impulse. This is the impulse. This is all part of a correction. So you don't want to get in the correction zone. My traders know that. I mean, you don't want to get in the correction zone, right? So you got an impulse up, an impulse down here. This might be the corrective part. You're getting an impulse down, you get an impulse up, you get another impulse down, and then you go. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. By the way, that's an impulse. This is the correction. You get another 1, 2, 3, and we might buy this one. Or we could buy this one. So you could buy any one of them from the downside if you get a setup at the bottom, because there's an impulse to come. If this is going to drop, leave this entry here. Pound Yen. Yep, looks like a consolidation. This is the top. That is not an entry. This morning we spoke about, right? Yep, it looks like it's doing what we thought it could do. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes here, come back here, and then go back up. Right? This looks like it's making some kind of a weird flat here. Stay away from it for now. Keep this entry for the sell and stay away from that piece. Right, so let's go. Aussie Yen. Where we had a buy in it. Why don't I have the entry for the buy? Oh, it's above this top. Sorry, I want to know where is it. Yeah, it's above the top. This. I don't think it's a contracting flat. Right? We can either assume that's a contracting flat and this is going to go, or we can assume that this is still in the B part. Right, somewhere in here, this whole thing here. It's kind of making a correction. Probably go back up there, and then drop one more, and then go, making a regular flat. So this whole piece could still be some kind of a correction in the making. I just leave it alone. We put an entry above the top, but you don't want, if this goes and tag you and keep going, you stay with it. But if it goes and slowly, It keeps crawling up and doing this and go there and doing this and go to take off that trade. Wait for it to break the top, make a big flag, and then go with it, because they can tag you here and then drop. Come back like that, make a flat, and then go. So you don't want to be tagged like that, right? Let's assume this is a contracting flat here. Let's assume this here is a contracting flat, right? And this is trying to go up to make a new high and then drop. See, this is going up here to make a new high and then drop. You want a flag above here to buy. So this has to go really fast, and then you put an end thing to close it. Or if it goes slow, take it off. It could go fast, it could go slow, and then this could be a drop to the downside. See, because you got one, you got a flat, you get one, you get a bigger correction, you drop again. Looks like a big correction for downside. So keep your eyes on the entry. As of now, it's valid. As of now, I think we're doing this. We'll keep it like that for now and then see what happens. Aussie Yen. Sorry, Aussie New Zealand. Did I say Aussie Yen? Aussie New Zealand. Take this off. It's still it's a sell, but it's still consolidating, and it's consolidating here. You don't want this to tag you here and then go back up. Keep the sell here for now. So we're going to put the sell in this here area here. And when this go back and break the top, we'll move the sell up. Right? How many times have you got tagged here and then watch it go, oh darn, it's going the opposite direction, tag you and go back up? That's because this pattern is incomplete. Aussie CAD, we'll keep the buy. We'll keep that buy and see how far it goes. I don't know if anybody got tagged in it. Just wait a minute more. If you got tagged in this slow move, close it, put it above the top. You don't want this slow move. You want it to actually take off, because if it's as slow as that, then the chances are this would come back down here, make a bigger flat, and then go. So you don't want the slow candles to tag you. You want to make sure you're above that. You want the candle start moving really fast, the one that is going to tag you. New Zealand CAD. This would probably go up, but again, it's making a flat. I probably could see this come back here, go back up there, come back here, and then go. Be careful. You don't want to be tagged, slowly. You want keep a stop here, but that's not where you're going to exit the trade. And this could be a big trade to the upside. But you're not looking to exit the trade here. This trade could go very, very far. Right? This trade could go all the way back to the top here with a number of corrections in it. So that is a good buy. Keep your entry. Wait, let's see what happens. Stay above the top. Karen? Okay, so remember this morning we didn't take that buy, right? All of you were here, we didn't take that buy. And since we're not taking that buy, if you take it, you have to get out really fast, because all they need to do is break the top and they can reverse, and they're coming back right back here. This could be a sell, right? So now we go into 1 hour and see how much hours we have there. Not much. We have less than an hour there. We don't even have an hour that closed. This would be the hour that closed in 40 minutes. So on the 15, it's a very small flag. Now this is going to be a really, really aggressive sell. So we'll put this as a sell, but now I'll put it as a really aggressive sell. Only for traders who know how to manage it. The conservative sell is still here. We'll leave that there. We're looking for this to come back to this low. Not necessarily breakthrough, but come back at least to this level. And then this could also be a running flat. And if this is a running flat, we could go back up 1 more. If not, we're going down totally. So all depends on how you look at this whole structure. Is it ending there? You can make an argument for that. If you go with 1, 2, 3, and you put this here, and then you go with 1, 2, 3, then yes, it ended there. This is going to drop through. If not, there's another flat forming here. Go back up there and then come back down again. So that trade is a good one, but it's super aggressive. See? Swiss Yen. We can take the buy. This is the big one. Actually, could you put the buy lower? We didn't really break the low, so I probably not put it lower. We'll leave it there. It can go without breaking that low. So let's leave it there and see what happens when you got tagged. And the aggressive sell here. If you took the aggressive sell, congratulations. You do. How much hours did it stay here? It stayed there more than 3 hours. So what you should have done with this, when you take this, is close it here and put an entry here. So you're in a second trade going. And you're in the second trade going. This trade profit you took out, and now you're in this trade going there. See, pretty easy. This is gonna go more. This one you still keep because we don't have 3 hours there. Right? You still keep it and then you see how it goes. So you don't have to be afraid that if I close the trade, it's gonna go away without me, because you would have closed the trade right here. Right when it starts to do those consolidations, coming back to the you close it anywhere in there, and your entry would be here. That's all the difference between this trade coming to this point. You only give up that piece. But what if at any point in time you didn't close it and this one had gone back to the top? And I think this week you saw a number of them that actually did that. Right? So that's the caution. You're still in the trade if it's going. You don't have to really worry about it. You don't close on the first pullback. This first pullback is not the close. That's not the close. Not that first candle up. Not even the second one. Is when it starts to do this on the 15th. On the 1 hour, that would be about 3 hours. 3-4 hours. Right? That's a consolidation. Let's go. Natural gas. Nope, it didn't give us the buy. It actually came down more. Take this off. Look for a running flat and then sell. Take this off too. I've seen this before where they did exactly like how this did, and this actually went back up. I don't know why that is so. This could be a 5-minute flag or a 3-minute flag or a 1-minute flag, but we've seen that before. And they go, we don't have a buy or a sell setup. It could be a sell setup. We'll go with a contracting flat here. And we could go with this as the first impulse. If this comes back here, do this, and then drop, we'll put an entry there. So if it comes back really sharp here, you can put an entry here and don't worry about it. If they keep going up, you'll have to wait for a flag to buy, but if it drops, you'll be in a good trade. So wait for the sell setup. I'll take this off. I will put the sell in the making, right? Which means only if it goes back up, then you can't sell here. You get yourself in really big trouble. And we have some aggressive sell setups here. Now, these are super aggressive sell setup. I think we're going to pull all of them. We'll take this off. Why? Because we went really, really back to the top. This was if this morning we were here. If this had dropped, we won the trade. But if it goes back to the top, you're getting a flat. Come here and go one more up. That becomes a buy setup. Literally, that becomes a buy setup. You want this to come a little lower. You want this to come a little lower here. And now you put an entry order for a buy. So I'll put the entry order for the buy. And it's a regular buy, but please make sure you let this come a little lower before you do that. Right? And that is a buy setup now. So we're out of the structure. We're out of the 1 hour structure. And we're consolidating. So if this is going to go, it will either consolidate more here, or it could take off, and we're going for the top there. See? That would be the trade. So put an entry order for the buy. Let's go with the buy. Let's see if this one has enough for the buy. It's coming down too. See, we even broke the top on this one, which is a good idea, right? Once the top is broken, you're thinking running flat. So you take this off. This was the flag we were selling. It went, it break the top, it come back. This is a running flat, so you can literally put the entry order above the top. Because this could go anytime. It could go just a little more, or it could stop right there and go. So this would become a buy. And this one, yep, also running flat. Put the entry above the top. Actually, you want this to come a little more, but that should do if you look at it the way the impulses are. Put it in the 50. These two impulses, well, it might come a little more. You're looking for this, you're looking for this, you're looking for this. So you get this, you start to get the same thing, you get this, you could get this. Expect a running flat and then upside. So it will probably come a little more down, and then we're expecting upside, so it's a buy. And DAX is a buy. You close the trade, you re-enter. I don't know why it's at the top there. It was at the bottom here, actually. It should be here, somewhere there. Close the trade again. Let's see in the 1 hour what it did. Yep, this one was coming down, so we close the trade. We close it right at the top here, actually. Your entry order should have been here, but it doesn't matter. It's there. You got 3 hours, close the trade, put an entry above the top. So I'm just going to move this entry because this is a break-even trade. I'm just going to move the entry back to the top there. right? So this was a good one, perfect. You close the trade, you re-enter, you close the trade, you re-enter. Those are positive close, maybe 5 pips, 10 pips. We don't count them, we count those break even. If you get a lot of those, it will add up in your account. You'll get a couple percent on them. But those are short trades. You want to make sure that this thing is going to go, right? I think that's it. We don't really look at these. We look at them on the second part. So what I'm going to stop the recording.